standard elements that are taught, but we see all of these places in between those big ticket items that need help and research performed.
And then the final aspect of communication education is that all of our clinical faculty have no resources for training communication. So they've been tasked to train and assess for competency in communication skills, but they have no resources or training on how to do that. That is a huge black hole. We have a whole wonderful field on instructional communication. A lot of us are interested in communication education or have had courses in it, and that is a wonderful area to apply our knowledge and expertise on an interdisciplinary team or on a project that's looking at medical communication competencies. Clinical faculty need resources and tools, and they need to be shown how to do these things. I know amongst all of our colleges and all of our universities, we have the best teachers. We do this right. We know how to do this. And it's time for us to share that knowledge with other clinical faculty who are tasked with this responsibility.
And in a connected way, it's also our responsibility as health communication researchers and teachers and scholars to educate other people in our own discipline who might have an incredible lack of familiarity with clinical education and not understand the way, the units in which, the modules in which things are issued and taught to clinicians. And they may think, oh, how can you write a study on a 6-hour module or something that has been taught over a very compressed period of time? And the fact is, that is clinical education. There's nothing more compressed in terms of content than clinical education. And so it becomes even more important that we understand what works, what communication tools are effective and useful for clinical educators. And that stuff needs to find a home in communication studies. And so it's our job to teach the rest of the discipline that there's this interdisciplinary world out there that we can impact and shape in a positive way.
I just realized we're probably speaking really fast because we get really excited about health and we're like rushing through this, but I'm just going to continue rushing because I feel really energy and we get excited and then we just take questions and say, directives, how were you at the bar, peanuts, and okay, so our last priority for thinking about interdisciplinary scholarship is communication intervention. And this is still really in its infancy, I think, for those of us who do communication intervention research. And thinking about, well, what is communication intervention research? Well, in palliative care, communication intervention research is, I changed the form for family needs and the way we document it. That's a communication intervention. I provide a question prompt list. So I gave a list of questions, and I'm going to give it to patients before we meet with them. And then I'm going to meet with them, and I'm going to assess, by using some items that don't have anything to do with communication, whether that communication intervention worked. So there's a lot of